I took the RV out on Friday for the first test drive on public roads, and it did very well, except for a couple problems. It handled really nice. It shifted really well. And eventually I parked it and then went inside for a while. Of course, after I parked it, I checked underneath, looking for leaks that might, after a vehicle's been sitting for a while. Didn't see any. And then I went inside and later came out and I saw a stream of antifreeze rolling down the parking lot. So it turned out that the water pump is bad. I mean, it's old, it's been sitting for years. So I wasn't surprised. I even made a comment to a friend that some time ago when I had the radiator out, maybe I should have just put in a new water pump just for good measure. But sometimes we want to see how long we can go without changing something, and if it's not broken, why fix it, right? Well, it's broken, so I'll be taking that out and taking it out right now. I just took the fan off. Now I'm going to continue with the belts and the pulleys. Get those out of the way, basically. And then remove some brackets for the alternator, air conditioning unit. So that's my job for today. It's my birthday today, and this is what my birthday present is. So I will continue and try to get this done today if possible. So we shall see. All right. So the water pump's out. Thermostat, I'm gonna change that. That's the old one still. Pump's still good, but just gonna put something new in there. So water pump ready to go in there. Everything's cleaned. Put this board here against the radiator so it wouldn't damage it. I tied that AC unit so that it would stay out of my way, and then it would not damage the radiator. So I got my new pump. I'm gonna be ready to put it in here shortly, and I won't have to worry about that. And I got new fan belts I'm gonna be putting on as well, so that'll be good. I mean, the old one still had some life in it, but they had cracks in it, so I didn't want to. Might as well just replace it now rather than on the side of the road somewhere. So that'll be my project today, partly. And I got my drive shaft. It's got a big dent in it. I'm going to be taking that in, having that done professionally. Just have basically a new one made using the ends of the old one, and they're gonna balance it. Then I'll install it. I had a vibration in the back, and I suspected that was the problem, rather than the tires. Tires are new, but they do have a tendency to have a flat spot when they sit for a while. And since these tires aren't radial, they're maybe a little bit more prone to doing that, but they do even themselves out as you drive in a short distance. Okay, so here it goes. I'm gonna put the new pump in, and so I'll show you when it's done. I think I mentioned earlier that as I was putting the water pump in, my power steering pump started leaking like a sieve and lost all the fluid. So I did just put everything together and was gonna see if it was whether or not it was just a loose clamp on the hose on the power steering pump. So I put a little bit of fluid in the pump this about a couple hours ago, and just enough to see if it would start leaking, and it started to leak. So I got under there, and it looked like it was coming from the hose. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell where a leak is coming from, but I start working on it from the top here. Undid the couple bolts that holds the bracket on there, which holds the pump up. And as I turn the pump, put my hand underneath the return hose, I discovered this big crack in it. So that obviously wasn't going to hold anything. So the hose is pretty much rotten. And then not only that, but right here, if I can hold it here, there, as I spread it apart, it was just rotten. It wasn't going to last any amount of time. It just had no flexibility left in it. So when the power steering got turned a little ways, it just pretty much just revealed the rottenness of the hose, and then it cracked, and then it started pouring out. So I'm going to replace that hose now. You know, it's one thing after the other when it's an old vehicle like this that's been sitting for years. You just gotta go with the punches. You gotta put new things in it. Replace the old with the new, and then before you know it, everything's hunky-dory. Okay, so I will go ahead and cut me some hose to that length and put it on. So I just came to a place called Auto Specialist in Boulder City, Nevada. And they failed my emissions test. Due to idle speed, CO 6.85%. If it's greater than 3.5, they fail it. Then at high speed, it came out at 5.3. So when they pulled it out of the bay over there, backed it out, it has since cooled down, but that was way past the big line, past the H for the longest time. So they got it red hot as they tested it. So I back out, and then it stalls here, so I gotta sit here and let it cool down. But the guy that did the testing, he came by maybe 15 minutes after I've been sitting here, inquiring, why it won't start. I said it's overheated, and then he acted like he had no idea why it would be overheated. It's like he was surprised. Well, it would have died on him. It was boiling hot. Obviously, he knew it had overheated. But he comes in the waiting room there, where they have you sit while they're testing it, and tells me it didn't pass. I was warned about this place to not take my vehicle here, even though I had brought it here twice before with the Toyota RV I had. Someone said they heard not good things about it. I don't know how much of that is true or not. But they're ready to take your money. It's all a racket. Let me give you a whole list of things here. There's only 3 places I can go to in the town that I'm in order to get this thing fixed and passed. I don't know what to do. I think I need to make some phone calls and see what I can figure out. So I failed at one place yesterday for my emissions test, and then providentially I was able to get a hold of these guys. KC's Auto Import and Domestic, area code 702-293-5580. Great guys. Talk to Jim or Bill. They will help you. They're really nice guys. Treat you right, honest, fair prices, and they were good. My RV passed. Just a little bit of adjustment to the carburetor. He was able to figure it out within 30 minutes, so it saved me a lot of money. Where the other quote I had was for $400, up to $400. Local place called Specialist Automotive. So I recommend Casey's Auto for automotive repairs and for your emissions if you're local to Boulder City, Nevada. Also, there's another friend of mine, or becoming a friend. He's got an auto shop not far from here called BK Customs. He's a great guy, works on older vehicles, and he's a great mechanic too. So I'll try to put him in this video as well. So I'm happy. This RV that I got, one that I've been working so hard on, bought it non-running, no carburetor, no smog pump, which I picked up 2 days ago in a place called Kingman, Arizona. The first wrecking yard I went to didn't have the pump I needed, but the second place had what I needed, so it worked out good. So that's cool. I got my pump on there. You know, they don't even care if these pumps work or not. They just want they want the parts to be on there and to look like they're working. I'm sure it's working. I felt it pumping when I would turn the pulley before I put it on the vehicle. So it's doing something, but so I had the idle screws just not like a half a turn or so too much or too less. So he adjusted that, and that took care of the problem, and it passed. So good deal. It was running good, but I guess a little bit of more of adjustment helps, and it helps. So I'm happy. It's Friday, and I'm gonna have a nice restful weekend, and I'm gonna put the doghouse back on. Put that all together again. Get that back snug on again, get the air cleaner back on. Then I'm gonna pull out of here